Hey there chess fans, I am Khan from Chess Bhaijans and today we'll try to learn some openings for black. So let's get right into it. Alright, so let's first see black's best responses to e4. e4 is the most popular opening choice for white. We discussed a lot of opening choices in our last video. If you haven't seen the video yet, then go and check it out. Alright, so after e4, you will see responses like e5. But when you become a bit more advanced, you start to see responses like c5. It is known as the Sicilian defense. Blacks control the key d4 square with a flank pawn. The opening can be played in a lot of ways. There are lots of variations such as the open Sicilian, the closed Sicilian, and so on. Since it is an overview, we are not going to get into all of that. After e4, another opening that you can play is the French defense. After e4, you push e6. After white takes the full center with d4, you push d5. It is a good opening, but sometimes the position can get a bit closed, which might be difficult for some player to tackle. Another similar opening is the cant defense. After e4, you push c3. After white takes the full center with d4, you play d5. It is one of my favorite openings, but like the French defense, the position can get closed, so remember it. Another response you may see is the purse defense. After e4, you simply play d6. After the move, white will continue taking the center. You should fianchetto your kingside bishop, develop the kingside knight, castle, and then attack the center. You might even see the Scandinavian defense against e4. After e4, black plays d5. Mostly white takes, then the queen takes back. Then white develops its knight. Then you have a lot of options to do where to put your queen. You can move it all the way back, but it's not ideal. I recommend keeping the queen bit more active, so play queen a5 or queen d6. The idea for this opening is to use the open d file. If you castle queenside, the rook and the queen doubles automatically. So the opening is definitely a great opening. Then let's talk about the typical roll-up piece. After bishop b5, you can play a beautiful move knight f6. It's known as the Berlin defense. Even the world champion Magnus Carlsen plays this opening. So if the bishop takes our knight, then we can take back with our d pawn, and then if white takes our pawn, then we can play queen d4 and gain a positional advantage. If someone tries to play the king's gambit against you after e4, e5, f4, you should play d5. After this, you can play this setup on your own. If you decide to accept the gambit, then you should use the Fischer's defense. I know these names are looking very complicated, but don't worry, we will cover all that in this channel, and since we are halfway through this video, if you are enjoying our content, a sub to the channel would be awesome. So let's get right into the next part. Alright, so let's talk about black's replies to d4. Let's start with the Nimzo Indian game. White plays d4, black responds with knight f6. After this, white may play a move like c4. In reply, black can play e6. After white develops his queenside knight, we can develop our dark squared bishop, pinning the knight. Instead of Nimzo, black can play the king's Indian defense. White takes the center and black fianchettos his bishop and castles, then proceeds to take the center. You can also play the Grunfeld defense. It is a really strong opening. Now let's talk about the lines we can play after d4, d5. If white plays the London, you can continue development. And also you have some counterplays like c5. So always keep an eye on that. If white plays the queen's gambit, black can play the queen's gambit decline variation or even respond with the Slav defense. Sometimes you can even play the same Slav defense, but that's a topic for another video. A risky response to d4 can be the Dutch. It is rare but pretty flexible. We will cover it in the future. Now let's talk about the bird's opening. You will see responses like knight f3 or d4. We will hopefully cover it soon, so stay tuned. Now let's talk about the English opening. In response to English, many moves are possible. The Anglo-English, Anglo-Dutch, Caro-Can, the reverse Sicilian, the symmetrical English, and many more. Our next video is going to be on about the English opening, so we'll hopefully clear all your doubts there. So that's it for today's video. If you like the video, a sub to the channel will be awesome. See you guys in the next video. Until then, stay hungry, stay foolish.